Today, I'm very excited to announce we've got a very special guest with us. We've got Mr. Adam Gateley. Adam has been in the industry for a long time and he's built a thriving community of network marketers. He has retired both his mum and his wife, and he's spent about 8 years in the industry. So, really looking forward to getting into this. Hey, there we go.
That better?
That's better, there we go.
I thought the internet had shut down on us for a minute because Canva's not working either, but that is actually down.
Canva?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
And I thought, Zoom as well.
Yeah. You never know how these things will turn out. I've run into quite a few technical issues when I've been doing these sort of interviews, so it's not unheard of.
I know, mate. How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, getting there, doing quite a few interviews and that. Yeah. How about yourself? How's things been?
Yeah, awesome, mate. Awesome. We had a call last night. There was like over 250 on for people in an AGIC, and everyone seems to have gone off with like a fire lit under them. So that was a good one. So we'll see what the results are from that this week.
That's what you want, yeah. Awesome. Okay, mate, wicked. Well, I'll just get straight into it. Like I say, I've rejigged some of these questions about. So, yeah, okay, question one then. So, as I understand, you've retired from the business now, which you've been a part of for 8+ years, is it?
Yeah. It was May 2017 when I started.
Right, okay. God, time really flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's gone fast, but there's been slow periods as well. Like even though it's 8 years, like in the grand scheme of things, it's not a very long time. But then you see the changes that have happened just in general, like on the internet, on social media in 8 years, and it's massive when you look at it that way as well.
I was going to say, prior to COVID, not as many people were probably working online as much, but did you see a huge uptake in sort of interested people when that sort of hit?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that was like the busiest time for me personally in my business was in that time, because naturally, if we think back, like people were in the UK, people were furloughed at home. They never came across an experience like this before where they had free time, and that that wasn't a holiday or wasn't a Christmas 2 weeks off that you get from work, where those things you either want to really relax or you're really busy. So even though it's time off work, you are still doing things. But COVID, people really woke up, I think, to think like, oh, what if I could do something else with my time? What if I could learn a new skill? I mean, don't get me wrong, some people probably wasted time in that period that they had off. But a lot of people that I'm working with now that are successful now online in my team, a lot of them did start in that period, let's say 2020 to 22.
Right, yeah, awesome, yeah. What advice would you give your former self when starting out in order to sort of expedite your results and your success?
Good question. I would say, looking back now, I mean, hindsight is a great thing, and we all think we could have done things better. But looking back now, I would probably say to learn sales as much as possible in the early years, because I just probably was winging it for the first year, let's say. I was using some of my previous sales skills that I had, but also I do feel like in the first 2 or 3 years, let's say, if I would have studied sales more, I mean, I did read a couple of books, but I'm talking a bit more than that. Like maybe if I'd have taken a few courses on sales or really gone to people and got advice more on sales, I think that would have helped me collapse the time, so helped me get the results quicker. Obviously, I got the results, but it would have been amazing to have a few more sales skills so that I could make more sales in that time and move a bit faster. So that's what I would say. It's easy to say now, but when I look at the whole business now, I mean, you don't have to have sales experience if you're willing to learn about it.
Yeah, sure.
But when I look at everything now, sales is a massive part. And not some people think of sales like, like car salesmen and car saleswomen and people like that who can come across as a bit sleazy. But I'm talking about just like asking powerful questions to people to help them understand why it's important for them to have your product or service. I'm talking about handling like the awkwardness and awkward conversations, but those conversations are like key to the sales process. Sure. So I'm just talking about things like that. I have that information now, but I do wish I'd have had it in the first few years of my business.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of sort of expediting success, I suppose having a mentor is something that's one way in which you can really sort of speed up your results. So why do you think choosing the right mentor might be important for those who want to succeed in network marketing?
I think that's important because you've got to get on with that person.
Right. Yeah.
It sounds a bit dramatic, but almost if you are trying to pick a partner for life or something like that.
Yeah, well, it is,
almost. Yeah. If you're thinking about getting married or something like that, you have to get on with that person, and not just in the good times. It's easy to get on with people in the good times.
Yeah.
In the times where you're struggling, or in the times where you really need help, you really need picking up, or in the times where you need telling as well. You need telling that that's not perhaps the right thing to do. You should maybe try things this way. Yeah. So there can be sometimes awkward conversations between a mentor and a mentee, if that's the right word.
I think so, yeah.
There can be sometimes awkward conversations to be had, and sometimes those awkward conversations can go the best way, and sometimes they don't go the right way, and it's down to that communication. So why it's important to be working with a great mentor, or the right one for you, as you say, which is actually better put, the right one for you, because I think like communication is the most important thing in these types of situations. Yeah. I'll give you a quick example. So it was about 4 years ago, because we were again back in COVID, and I hired a Instagram Reels coach to be my mentor. I was paying him, I think it was a 3-month plan or something like that. And obviously the goal was for me to improve my Instagram Reels, improve my content, and get more views on my profile to be able to build my business faster. Yeah. And this guy, he was very, I don't want to say strict, but he was very direct. So what he would do is he would go off, find the content for me that he thought was suitable for me and my business and my niche. He would send me all of that content over, and he would give me a plan and say, I want you to recreate this reel, like film it, and I want you to like put these words on specific for your niche, etc., etc. So I would go off and do that. Maybe I filmed like 5, 6, 7, 8 reels a day. And some of them weren't up to the standard that he wanted for me.
Yeah.
Because of that, then I had to go back to the drawing board, film the ones again that weren't up to standard, and until we got the ones that we wanted, that he knew would attract the best leads for me on social media. And that was very difficult, for me to hear. It was a very humbling experience, because I'd been in business about 4 years at this point. So I felt like I, knew what I was doing. But obviously when you get a mentor and they're teaching you new skills, that's when you get humbled.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. So going back to your original question, looking back now, I needed him to be tough with me. I needed him to have those awkward conversations with me, and I needed to react in the best way out of those conversations. Like, you could easily kick up a fuss and say, no, I've worked hard, I've done what I need to do. Why is he doing this? Whether you say that to his face or not behind his back. But it would be easy for me to do that. But no, I needed to stand up and have a think and think, yeah, this is what I want. I invested in this guy to make me better. And if this is how we get better, then I'm going to have to film these reels again.
Yeah.
So yeah, in answer to your question, communication, being able to handle the tough conversations that you have between each other, that's why it's really important. Because if you aren't quite a good fit, then obviously that can affect you and your business and them and their business as well.
Yeah, sure. Amazing. So much there that I'd love to unpack. I'm not sure if I asked that in a future question, but so with that then obviously is cracking the whip at you. Is it a lot of that to do with sort of using the keywords that sort of resonate with your audience and sort of repurposing them in future content and making sure that those land with your future content and
just exactly
sort of thing?
Yeah, so when you like with content, when you get, I try lots of different things. You might have seen already with my content, lots of different angles, approaches, lots of different topics as well. And when I get a piece of content, like they don't all do well at all, but when I find one that does do well, and I'm not talking specifically about views as well, because I know a lot of people online focus on views with reels, for example. Views are great, but what I'm interested in is like how many times my content's getting shared or commented on or interacted with, how many people like send me messages off the back of the content wanting to know what I do. And when I get a few of those things combined from a piece of content, I'm thinking, yeah, that one's done really well. So what I need to do is I need to make more of that type of content. And that's the goal with me. It's like a numbers game, like the funnel. You try a few things at the top, you find your way, you find stuff what works, and you keep honing in on that stuff that works. That's how I do it anyway.
Sure, nice, yeah. I was actually speaking with Chris Brown recently, and he was saying about how he values, authenticity in his content and actually making content that's not necessarily, viral, but if it is viral as a byproduct of what he's been doing, great, but more about having, I guess, targeted messaging to his audience, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, okay. I noticed that you mentioned that becoming and staying successful in business is about being willing to keep going when things get boring, because I guess sometimes that happens.
Definitely.
So beyond making sales though, so I've kind of changed this question up a little bit, how important do you feel it is for someone to have a strong why or a personal mission statement in their business, and why do you think that might be?
I think for me, how I view this one, which is a great question, because like you just referred to there, like things can get tough. Not even tough, like boring, as we said. Like you can be sat at the laptop, it could be for hours trying to figure something out, and that can be those days can be when some people might give up on their business. Too many of those days, but like you say, if you have something that helps you push through that, if you have something further in the back of your mind that helps push you through that, then that's gonna get you through it. That's gonna get you through the tough days and the days where things feel boring, nothing's working, etc., etc. And for me, it was always thinking about, in my business, in my 8 years, it's always been thinking about what this business or what I can do to help like other people aside from me, like my family and friends and other people in the business as well. So I think that was something strong. Like if I just think, as I'm running my business, if I just think about myself all the time and the benefits that I'm going to get from it, if I push through those times, then yeah, it's all right. But if you have more people in the back of your mind that you want to help personally through your business, then and you want to lead by example as well. You want to like be the person that never gives up on anything, no matter how tough it is, because other people are watching as well.
Yeah.
Other people are watching, whether they're like those silent watchers or whether they're like vocal about it, like how's your business going and all of that.
Yeah.
Other people are watching you, so you want to lead by example and show that you can push through those times. I also feel like, as well, for me, doing the business and doing things for positive outcomes is great, but doing the business and trying to be successful to get away from negative outcomes is just a strong why for me as well. So, for example, I don't want to ever go back to a job again. I don't want. I want, for example, if I don't know, an emergency bill pops up for me or for my family, that we can just pay that bill if it's a medical bill or something like that, without having the worry of how can we get the money together? Do we need to put it on a credit card or something like that? So the whys for me, the positives, they're all great. We could talk about them all day long, the positives that you can get from being successful, but also getting away as far as possible from the negatives that pop up in life help me push through those bad days as well.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really consider that before. Having sort of an, some people have a vision board of what they want in life. Don't know if you're a fan of sort of the law of attraction or any of that kind of stuff. I am myself, but yeah, some people have those vision boards. So having that strong reason as to what you don't want to move away from, as well as what you do want, I suppose that's an extra sort of push towards things. Yeah,
Defo.
Yeah. So you were in the UK recently, and you recently gave a UK presentation. Was that Conscious Creators or something?
Yeah. So that's like a part of my team. There's a big part of my team.
Right. And how was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. I've spoke on a couple of events on a couple of stages before, but it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago now, and not as big as a stage like that. So there was 500 people there, and I did speak as well the day before at a smaller event. There was about 60 people there.
Yeah.
So I feel like that helped me a lot, because that helped calm my nerves a lot, because from the previous day with the smaller group, and that put my mind at ease a bit with the larger group as well.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of goes into my next question, which was how do you sort of prepare yourself for a speaking engagement like that, and what has public speaking taught you about how to engage with people?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I feel like you can prepare in your mind, or you can prepare logically, like you can have your presentation done, but nothing really, I don't think, can compare and prepare you for being on that stage in front of those people, and they're all sat there looking at you, waiting for you to speak and hanging off your last word as well.
Yeah.
And the scene is, there's bright lights, and they always feel really warm as well when they hit you. Yeah. So that just compounds everything, because your hands get all clammy and things like that. Yeah, exactly. The thing that really helps me, because naturally I am an introvert, the thing that really helps me with presentations, even online as well, online or in person, is, and it's not always possible, but is if I have something like a set of slides or a presentation or even just some notes to help me hit the points that I want to hit in the talk. Yeah. And luckily at this event, I was able to have slides and they were there like to guide me and make sure I didn't forget anything that I really wanted to say as well. A good thing that I did as well is I really sat down for a good amount of time before I made the presentation to think about, actually, the most important part for me was like how to start it. And I started that presentation by bringing up some old content from like 8 or 7 years ago when I first started my business and I first started posting content on Instagram, and it was so bad. That I brought up my first Instagram post. It was a picture of a pizza. And obviously I went into it by saying like this post was made with the intention of trying to get some leads and trying to get some sales to my Instagram page, and it was a pizza.
Who doesn't
So
like pizza,
I guess,
though, right?
yeah, everyone likes pizza, and I think that calmed me and calmed everyone else because I got a few laughs from that. And my intention was to kind of make fun of myself at the very beginning to show like this is how bad I was when I first started. So you can't be any worse than me if you're thinking about putting a few posts out on Instagram for your business. And so if I have one tip, unless it's a real serious presentation, if I have one tip, it's to maybe make fun of yourself at the beginning to calm your nerves and get a few laughs and settle everyone down.
Yeah. Sort of set the tone as well. It sort of makes it a bit more, takes away the stress of it, I suppose. And I think by doing that kind of stuff as well, you're almost giving people permission to sort of realise that, you know, they can take that imperfect action as they go forward, and their content doesn't have to be super polished, you know.
Yeah, that was the goal with it, yeah. And to realise that we're all human. Like, even though I've been in the business 8 years, I still have had similar struggles and challenges to a lot of people that are starting today, for example.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose it makes you sort of quite relatable in that sense. So yeah, I think I saw in one of your presentation slides, it might have been at the Conscious Creators Expo actually, you mentioned about something called the content trifecta. If you wouldn't mind, would you be able to give us some detail about that and how it can help content creators?
Yeah, so what it is if you imagine an upside down triangle, in the top left you have all the things that you stand for in life and business if you're running a business online. The top right you have all the things that you stand against in life and business, which is quite simple really, because once you've got the things that you stand for, the against are just the complete opposite.
Right.
So just a basic example, like I encourage people to make lists of these for themselves. The list can be as long as you want, but just for example, if I'm for jumping out of your comfort zone, then I'm against playing small and keeping yourself all together and never speaking your mind and things like that, and never doing anything that scares you. If I'm for keeping on top of your money and always improving your money mindset, I'm against people that think, you know, I don't need to worry about learning about money. I don't need to keep on top of my money and are reckless with their money, for example. That's just two examples. And people will have long lists of all the things they stand for, all the things they stand against. And then the bottom one, if you imagine the bottom of the triangle, is relatable realities. So it's all the stories that you have about yourself that keep you real, relatable. They can be real simple things. Just for example, the stories that I told you about with the Reels coach that humbled me, and the stories that I told you about just from that event where I was talking about how I felt before I got on stage. Like, I can make a bunch of content around those types of things that keeps me relatable online. It shows to anyone that's following me and might be interested in what I do that I'm quite relatable. I'm just a normal guy. And those type of stories can be literally anything. Like you locked yourself out of your house. What lesson did it teach you? You could make a post about it, and someone is going to pop up and say, that happened to me, and if it's happened to John and John's wanting to be successful, then maybe me and John, we relate to each other, and maybe we could build a partnership. I don't know. So that's the goal with it. And the bottom one for me is probably the most important out of the three, because it's easy to, just for example, me, it's easy for people to come across my Instagram page today and think, I've had 8 years in business, I'm completely too far away to help anyone who's starting their business today. but those types of posts bring me back down to earth, and hopefully people can see that.
Mm.
So when you combine these three pillars, if you like, these three parts of the trifecta together, you have a lot of stories to tell and a lot of content to put out about you and yourselves and your beliefs, so people will be attracted to you. And if people aren't on the same wavelength with your fors and your against and all your stories as well, then that's fine as well. Like, you don't really want those people following you or being negative about you if you don't align with them, and vice versa. So that essentially is the content trifecta that I try to teach my teams.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's interesting what you mentioned at the end there as well about, I sort of call it being polarizing. Like, you see it in a lot of sort of celebrities, they're either A or B, not necessarily politically, but it could be sort of anything. And, it's I think that's quite a big thing in marketing as well, generally, isn't it? You stand for something, so you must stand against something else by definition. So that's a powerful way to sort of get people to relate to you, and I suppose know, like, and trust you as well. So it's always handy. Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like as well, just in general online, if you're doing something, if you're creating something online, there's going to be people that love you and there's going to be people that can't stand you. That's just how it is. There's no real middle ground with that. If you want to go in the middle and shy away from either, then you're probably not going to build something worthwhile, I guess.
Yeah. Get ready for the shade and don't be vanilla. Yeah. So, what top qualities do you feel would an affiliate leader ideally need to have cultivated by sort of the higher ranks? So, like, for those who don't know, 6A is one of the sort of higher ranks. Apart from being a problem solver.
Yeah, problem solver probably goes by default. If you can't solve problems at that point, then you're probably going to struggle. However, other things, definitely communication, like I mentioned earlier, for the reasons that I mentioned earlier as well. If you struggle to communicate with either your team members, the people that you're mentoring, or your leads as well, if you react emotionally to messages or calls or anything like that, then you're going to struggle as well. So sometimes you do have to take the whole emotion out and have a bit of empathy or sympathy with people and their situations if you want to help them. So communication is massive. I think just leading by example, again, with what we said earlier, so showing people what's possible, inspiring them. Sometimes you can't drag people with you, but if you can inspire people as much as possible, then the ones that do want to make things work are gonna see that, and the ones that the ones that don't, maybe it's not right for them anyway. Yeah. So other things, you have to be always willing to learn, like, no matter where you are in life or business. Like, I'm sure there's millionaires out there today that are successful and they are still looking for things to learn about. I feel like that is like a never-ending journey. The moment that you think, I've made it, something will come along and humble you, and you'll think, oh, why didn't I know that? And that's because you didn't go ahead and find out and learn about it. Yeah. So always being willing to learn as well. What else? I would say one thing that I think I do well at is I never get too high when the big wins come, and I never get too low when things aren't working well, when we have a problem that needs solving, or when we have a setback. This can be a positive and also a little bit of negative, but like, whenever, I don't know, we've hit a big rank, I absolutely love that. But my wife is like, oh, you don't seem as excited as I thought you would be. And I'm like, no, I am.
Just another day.
Yeah, just like taking it all in. But then the better part of this skill, if you like, or this mindset, is when you have a bad day, when you have a setback, When something doesn't go as planned, I don't get too low about it. I know that we can always try to figure something out to a solution. So that helps me a lot as well. So yeah, I mean, there's probably more things, but these are coming to mind at the top of my mind at the moment.
Amazing. I was just going to sort of piggyback off that question while it's fresh in my mind. How would you sort of screen for sort of people that you are working with? People that are interested in what you're doing. I mean, you've sort of touched on that in terms of like the qualities that you look for, but is there sort of anything that you look for specifically when you're sort of screening people that you want to work with?
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say when people are going through like training materials, like just check how they're reacting to things, and when somebody a good challenge for this, a good way to screen for this is if somebody comes across a little problem. I don't know, maybe they're setting a Facebook ad account up and they're struggling with how to get it all set up or something like that. How they react to that problem or challenge, like, are they having a nervous breakdown? I mean, I know I might have been there before, don't get me wrong. Or are they like proactively looking how to figure it out, like going on YouTube by themselves and coming back to me and saying, oh, don't worry about it, Adam, that question, it doesn't matter, I figured it out, found it on YouTube. That's just a typical example. And just something as simple as that, normally I can tell how that person's mindset is going to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's people that I've had in my business and they've gone far, and then at a certain point they might have stopped. So you can't, and I thought, oh, God, why is that person stopped? They've got so far in their business. So I guess the answer in that little side bit there is you can't predict fully how someone is going to be. Something could happen in their life. Yeah. They might have to like do a complete 180 or something like that, and I don't know, go back to a job for a bit, or somebody might be running their business like and doing things and taking a bit more time than other people and going a bit slower than other people in the business, and you think, do they not have enough time, or do they take more time to learn than other people? Like, where is this person going to go? It's a bit unpredictable. And then all of a sudden they'll pick something up. They'll have a sale, for example, and then another one, and you think, exactly, yeah. So I think it is difficult because you're trying to judge someone's character. Not character, maybe like work ethic as well in with that. You're trying to judge how they're going to be, but a good indicator is how people deal with problems and challenges. Are they calm, or are they really frantic, like sending me 10 messages and I've not even looked at my phone for 30 minutes or something like that? Yeah. So I think that's a real good indicator how people deal with challenges, in answer to your question.
Brilliant. Okay, so this is quite a loaded question here. Interpret it however you like. What's your take on AI in terms of how it can sort of maybe help or hinder, especially like content creators in the future? I know we've obviously got the introduction of digital ID, which I think a lot of people are against. But yeah, like that, and sort of generally, what's your kind of take on how that affects what we do?
I think overall, I see it as a positive. I mean, it's helped me loads in my business, and I've only been using it maybe in the last year. I know people that have been using it when it first came out, I think almost 3 years ago now. Right, yeah. Overall, I think it's a positive. However, I do feel like it has to be used in a certain way for online business owners and creators. For example, me, if I go on Instagram or Facebook today and I see posts, I can pretty much about 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10 guess which ones have been written by AI and which haven't.
Yeah.
You probably know what I mean. You might have seen them yourself.
The telltale signs when I look at sort of YouTube videos, it's this isn't just a da-da-da, this is a da-da-da, and it's just like it's so like formulaic, but there's no human authenticity in it at all. But I
think we're on the same wavelength with it. Now, I've used it, and I might be wrong, but I've used it in a way that is not like that. Like, I've used it for a lot of ideas, lots of content, lots of scripts for videos, for example. I used it for some of the presentation that we mentioned earlier that I did at the event, just to spark those ideas. I just see it as a toolbox that I can dip into every now and again when my brain feels empty or feels like it's blowing up and I just cannot think of the right phrase to use, for example, in a headline, in a piece of content, or I just can't think of a better word to use. So it's things like this where I'm using it like gradually in my content. And I feel like the creators that use it like this, that use it as a tool and not as something that's completely taking over the business.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like those creators are going to benefit massively. But for the ones that are a bit, shall we say, lazy with it and just expect it to write out a full post or a full sales page or a full webinar, people are going to pick up on that. Like it does sound a bit robotic if you're overusing it, as you'll probably realise yourself.
You're not going to connect with people like that, are you? Really, because it's just so predictable and like you can tell that it's not authentic.
Yeah, exactly what we were saying before. Like, people want to relate to people in a time where a lot of people feel a bit disconnected in the world.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of people are looking for an opportunity but are scared. If you see a post written by AI and you're reading it and it sounds like a robot, that's going to disconnect you further, and you're not going to trust that person to help you if you want to start a business, for example. Whereas if a post is really relatable and it sounds human, in the background that could have been written, or that could have been helped, that post could have been formulated and helped by AI, but you might not even know that because it's been written so well, and it actually sounds like the person is saying it out loud, the person that you're reading it from. And those content creators that create content like that, it still sounds like them as a person. It's relatable. It's not like filled with emojis like some AI posts. Yeah. I feel like for those people that use it like that, the creators that use it like that, it's definitely a positive, and it's definitely something that's gonna be used for a long time.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, fair enough. And what's your take on sort of the digital ID kind of thing? They're sort of bringing in the UK and elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I'm not massive on politics, but what I would say is I live in Dubai, and we have a form of digital ID here, but it's just so that you can. We just use it so that, if you're going into a building, for example, I don't know, an office building to sign some documents, for example, they want to see like you are who you say you are on there. But within the UK, I think it's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, I agree.
And the outcome of it, I think, is going to be that a lot of people are going to look elsewhere to either live and work in the world, which is sad when we think about it, because in that situation, the UK could lose a lot of very good people and very skilled people and very knowledgeable people and successful people. I think that's going to happen over the next, 5 or 10 years in the UK. So I don't think it's a good thing for the UK. And I think it's going to create a lot of division as well, even more than ever, which is never good. People are not going to get on with each other. They're going to vent their frustrations online on platforms like they do, and that's just going to create like mass division, I think. So I don't think it's a good idea.
Get out of the UK.
And not to mention, I mean, we'll probably speak all day about the other negative aspects in general of it, but that's what I think the outcomes are going to be.
Sure. Well, thank you ever so much for your time today. Really grateful to have
That's
you.
all right.
Before I let you go, where can people find out more about you if they want to learn more about what you do?
The best place is just my Instagram, which is just my name, Adam Gateley, Gateley, and I'm very active on there. You'll also get a bit of comedy as well every now and again. But yeah, that's the best place to find me if anyone needs to reach me off the back of this.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you ever so much. And
No, thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe I'll see you at an event sometime. So.
Definitely. See you soon, mate.
Take care. All the best.